Imagine, you're helping again. You try to be understandable, calm, supportive. You invest energy, attention, warmth, and at some point you notice that the response is diminishing. Less gratitude. Less respect. As if the more you give, the less you're seen. That's the dark truth. Kindness doesn't make you valuable. It makes you convenient. And convenient quickly becomes invisible. You were taught, be kind, and people will respond in kind. But reality works by different rules. In reality, people don't value what requires no effort. They don't notice what is always available. This isn't malice. It's psychology. Our brains are wired to value contrast, resistance, rarity. If you're constantly available, predictable, gentle, you become background. And background is ignored. The paradox of kindness is that it begins to destroy you when you forget about boundaries. When your desire to be needed becomes a fear of rejection. You don't just want to help, you want to be accepted. You want your caring to prove your worth. But people sense when kindness is rooted in need. And then they stop seeing your strength. This isn't about anger. It's about power dynamics. The psychology of relationships is simple. The one who is more emotionally dependent loses respect. Even if they are the kindest person in the room. Value frame. This is the point at which you either manage the energy of interaction or give it away completely. When you give too much without asking for anything, you lose your frame. And with each passing moment, people become accustomed to your generosity, like air. Think about how many times you've said, I just want them to understand that I'm trying. But the harder you try, the further they retreat. Because effort that knows no bounds looks not like love, but like dependence. This is the dark side of kindness. It disguises itself as nobility, but is often born of fear. Fear of loneliness. Fear of rejection. Fear that without your usefulness, you are worthless. The psychology behind it is simple. The brain associates value with effort. If a person doesn't make an effort to keep you, their mind doesn't perceive you as valuable. You are a habit, and habits don't give thanks. That's why balance is so important. Kindness without strength is not kindness. It is submission. And submission always breeds contempt. Soft power. This is a state where you can be kind, but don't need to be loved for it. You choose to help rather than ask for recognition. You maintain inner independence, even while showing care. You mustn't become cold. You must become mindful. Kindness is not a survival tool. It's a conscious choice of a strong mind. When you stop trying to deserve kindness, you become a source of strength. You give because you have something to give. Not because you want to prove you deserve it. You see, true value is born from inner resilience. When you're not dependent on reaction, your energy becomes pure. And people sense it. Kindness that comes from strength is captivating. Kindness that comes from fear is exhausting. You can be kind and still set boundaries. You can say no without becoming angry. You can walk away without feeling guilty. Because maturity isn't about pleasing. It's about balance. Every time you feel like you're no longer appreciated, it's not because you haven't done enough. It's because you've done too much, forgetting about yourself. The mind loves order. The ego demands validation. When you act from your mind, you're calm. When you act from your ego, you burn out. Your kindness ceases to be a force when its source is pain. But it becomes a weapon when its source is clarity. That's why it's important to ask yourself, why do I want to help? Why can't I not help? If the answer is fear of losing connection, then it's not kindness, but dependence. If the answer is awareness and choice, then it's strength. The psychology of confidence is simple. People respect those who can leave. And the more relaxed you are about this, the more they are drawn back. This is how the paradox of attraction works. When you stop proving yourself, people begin to seek your attention. When you retreat into the shadows, they notice the light they've lost. In communication, this is immediately apparent. You speak calmly. You don't make excuses. You don't argue. You don't force kindness, you offer it as a choice. And it is at this moment that kindness becomes attraction. Because it comes not from fear, but from inner confidence. You stop being the one who's always there. You become someone who wants to be understood. And then kindness regains its true power. Silence is your ally. Sometimes the best way to maintain respect is to prove nothing. Let your actions speak for you. When the mind is calm, the ego loses power. You no longer seek approval. You simply live by the principle, I choose to be kind, but not blind. And then your every gesture is conscious. Every word is measured. Every no is as kind as a yes. The world doesn't respect those who please everyone. The world respects those who remain themselves, even if it's inconvenient. This is what mature kindness is. You understand someone else's pain, but you don't let it destroy your energy. You help without losing yourself. You become a mirror, you reflect other people's emotions without letting them into your mind. You manage boundaries. And boundaries are respect in its purest form. Kindness without boundaries becomes weakness. Kindness with boundaries is a strength that people don't turn away from. And yes, sometimes those you've helped will leave. Because they've become accustomed to your unconditional love. But let them go. You shouldn't be a cure for those who don't want to be cured. True strength lies in the ability to remain kind, even after you've been devalued. Don't become bitter. Don't become cynical. Just become wise. You begin to see who appreciates and who exploits. And you no longer confuse gratitude with manipulation. You stop saving and begin to inspire. This is the evolution of kindness. From need to strength. From dependence to freedom. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be convenient. You simply have to be real. Let your kindness be the choice of a conscious person. Not by asking for recognition, but by demonstrating inner peace. And remember, when you stop seeking gratitude, the world begins to see your true value. Because the power of kindness lies not in pleasing everyone, but in remaining yourself, even if no one applauds. And if you understand this, your kindness is no longer vulnerability, it is your power.